No.
Tigers. Fight, Tigers, fight. Mike, it's not even a top 1,000 moment all time.
Okay, Tommy, shut the hell up, man.
Mike! Of course, I'm gonna go with the right answer. It's Ryan Eads of the Baltimore Orioles. He's only wore the number 80 for 8 games. He's only one of 2 players.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna take this.
Welcome back to Coach. And as you can see, we have all 4 of our members on the podcast today. Tommy, welcome back. We're so happy to have you back here full time. As you guys saw on our Instagram page, there were multiple sources, including Jeff Passan, who reported that Tommy Mumaw was going to be back on the podcast today. Tommy, we're so happy to have you back. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. Thanks for having me. That Jeff Passan tweet was great. And no, I'm excited to be back. We're getting close to 100, so it's going to be fun.
Another huge shout out as we're filming on Sunday. It is actually Mike's 20th birthday. So we all want to wish Mike a very happy birthday there. We know you guys are watching this on Monday, but it is Mike's birthday here on Sunday. So happy birthday to you, Mike.
Appreciate it, man. I also do want to mention, I think Bob Nightingale tweeted that Tommy would never appear on another episode, Go Chat Again. So I guess the Nightingale curse just continues. But thank you for the birthday wishes. Appreciate it. And excited to get into jam-packed episode today.
Well, gentlemen, we have an episode to do. So why don't we go right into it? Go to the number 97. We are getting so close to episode 100, as Tommy said. But for now, we're on number 97. Tommy, I'm going to start with you here for number 97. Your first episode back. Let's see who you got.
Well, I have a good one today because I haven't gone with a baseball player in a really long time. I think it's been many episodes. We're going to go with Joe Beimel today. You guys probably don't even know who that is. He was a good reliever for several teams. Let's take a look at this. 4 years with Pittsburgh, 3 with the Dodgers, 2 with the Rockies, 2 with the Mariners, 1 with the Twins, 1 with the Rays, 1 with the Nationals. Career ERA, not so great, 4.06.
But you want me to leave? Like, are you trying to get me to leave, Tommy?
I do want to go back to his 2008 season, though. 71 appearances, needed 2.02 ERA, was not named an all-star with the Dodgers, but put together a really good year.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What number did he wear during that 2008 season?
He wore 97.
Okay.
He wore 97 for the majority of his career.
Well, just because we know you and we know how you just like to give people these accolades when they didn't even wear the number, so.
No, great point there. But he did wear 97 from 2005 to 2015. So,
Tommy.
Nothing like having a guy with a 4.05 ERA in our Go to the Numbers segment. Welcome back, Tommy.
Hey, I mean, come on. He was pretty good. He was like solid for a little while. So, Joe Beimel today.
Matt, I'm going to throw it to you.
No. Connor, I want you to go.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I want you to go.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go a little bit out of my comfort zone here today, and I'm going to go with a hockey player, and I'm going to go with Jeremy Roenick. He was a Chicago Blackhawks. He is only one of 3 American hockey players to have over 500 goals. He finished with 513 goals, 703 assists, over 1,200 points. So I'm going to go with Jeremy Roenick today.
All right. It's good.
Matt, you are now.
I'm going to go with the obvious right choice. It's Connor McDavid. I mean, the disrespect to Connor McDavid continues on every week. He's one of the best hockey players to ever play. I can confidently say that, obviously behind Wayne Gretzky. Connor, that was your test. You kind of failed, but that's okay. That's okay, Connor. I know. You did better than Tommy. I'll give you that. But he's already a 2-time MVP, won the MVP this past season, had an incredible season. Obviously, I said he was best male athlete. Mike did too. We were obviously right there too. But no, Connor McDavid is an obvious choice. Mike, I think you're going to go with Connor too.
I don't know. It was kind of tough here, but although Connor McDavid has only played, 6 years in his career? Yeah, 6 years. But he scored over 100 points in 4 of them, and nearly almost did it in 2019, 2020 if the season wouldn't have been cut short. So I think I'm going to go with Connor McDavid too. Connor, honestly, Jeremy Roenick was another good pick too. one of the best born American skaters. But I'm
Not
gonna go
the
with
best,
Connor
but
McDavid
one.
here. I think he's arguably the most skilled hockey player of all time, along with Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby. So I mean, Connor McDavid. I can't wait to see what the rest of his career holds in stake. So I got to go with him.
True disclaimer, I had no idea what number Connor McDavid wore. So
Connor, I'm sorry. I had to see who you were gonna go with before me and Mike went. Because if me and Mike went, you would have just agreed with us.
you're probably right, because I would have understood that I chose the wrong hockey player, but he is still one of only 3 born Americans to have over 500 goals in the NHL.
Yeah. No, he's a good player. He's a good player. I'm not gonna disrespect you for picking him.
Well, as
Tommy,
Mike
on the
said,
other hand,
I think
yeah,
I saw
Tommy's a different story there. Can't even talk about it. But as Mike said, we do have a very jam-packed episode. Over these next couple of weeks, you are going to see so much NFL content coming from us. We're going to talk about the AFC this week. We're going to talk about the NFC next week. And following up, we're going to talk about some NFL awards there before our 100th episode. Huge month of Go Chat here. But until then, we're going to talk about the AFC coming up right next.
welcome back to Go Chat. As Connor said, we have a jam-packed episode today. Today, we're going to be talking about the AFC, giving our predictions, including the wild card. Next week, possibly barring any big sort of sports news, we'll be doing the NFC along with that wild card, and then maybe a Super Bowl prediction here or there. We know Mike did get his right somehow. All Mike's takes, he got one right. So we got
Not true, but
we got the Tampa Bay Lightning too. He's Tampa Bay everything. Safe pick, I guess.
I gotta roll with the Rays this year.
I guess you gotta. We got the AFC divisions here. I got it up on my screen. We're gonna start with the AFC East. All right, I'm gonna give you guys the floor. You could talk about who you think is gonna win, how you think this division's gonna go. So we're gonna start with the AFC East, that consists of the Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins, and New York Jets. Also, Josh Allen did sign that huge contract extension, 5 years, $258 million. Don't remember the guaranteed, but this would make
the guaranteed was $150 million. It was the most ever given in an NFL contract.
That would make him he's going to average, I think, $43 million a year behind Patrick Mahomes, who has 45, and Dak has 40, I want to say. So there's a whole lot of information, Connor. The Jets right behind you.
Yeah, they're not doing anything in the division this year. I think this is going to be the tightest division in the NFL this year, I think, outside of maybe the NFC West. But these teams have just consistently gotten better over the past several years. I'm a little weary about the Patriots this year just because you don't have a guaranteed number 1 quarterback there. Cam Newton didn't really perform that great last year, and Mac Jones hasn't really looked that great in camp from what I've seen. But you got Bill Belichick at quarterback, and they still have a very good defense. Not quarterback, as head coach. Don't make a face at me, Mike. And they always have had a good defense. So you never know what New England can do. Miami under Brian Flores has just been so good the past couple of years. They're going to continue to get better. The biggest thing that I need to see from Miami this year is that Tua can actually play a consistent role as an NFL quarterback. He was benched a couple times last year, brought out of the game because Ryan Fitzpatrick they felt would be a better option coming into the game. He needs to show that he can be a true number 1 quarterback. I think having Jalen Waddle there can be really good for him. The Buffalo Bills, we mentioned Josh Allen. I'm a little hesitant about that Josh Allen deal. I think it was a little premature. You're at the point where you had to re-sign him, but I think giving him $43 million a year was a little hefty, considering that he had one really good year in the NFL. His first couple of years, he was incredibly inconsistent, overthrew a lot of receivers, wasn't too great with the football. But yeah, I think this is the Buffalo Bills division to lose at this point. I think it's probably going to go Buffalo, Miami, New England, and then the Jets in last. But by no means do I think the Jets being in last means that they're a bad team. And I know that I say this with a Jets flag here, but they have completely revamped that entire team over this past offseason. You bring in Robert Saleh, who is a huge, just motivational head coach. And it's immediately a step up from your team last year, having Adam Gase. You have Zach Wilson, who's looked okay in camp. You can't really know what you've got from him until you see some live reps there in the preseason. Great wide receiver room was revamped. They're on the verge of Denzel Mims, a 2nd-round pick last year, is on the verge of getting cut because of how deep their wide receiver room has been has become with Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, Keelan, oh my God, Keelan Cole, Elijah Moore is showing up, and the tight ends have looked really good. Defense, they have a great front seven, a little concerned about their cornerbacks. They're not going to be a playoff team this year, but I think that in the next couple of years, this will be a division that has all teams over 500.
Interesting stuff there, Connor. Mike, I'm going to throw it to you.
I think the Bills, Patriots, and Dolphins will all have double-digit wins this season. I think all three of these teams are so good. The Bills obviously went 13-3 last season.
Yes.
13-3, right? And I mean, they didn't necessarily add too many pieces. They added Emmanuel Sanders and got rid of John Brown. They added some guys in the draft, but they didn't make any major improvements. So I think they'll stay around like the same kind of record. But man, the Patriots and Dolphins did a lot this offseason. The Dolphins had a phenomenal draft. Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips. They drafted Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame, a tackle as well. So they added some pieces to that offensive line. I loved what they did in the draft. I think they had one of the better drafts in the league. And the Patriots, although, having Nelson Aguilar as your first wide receiver is not ideal, their receiving corps is 10,000 times better than it was last year, right? So you add two tight ends, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. You also add Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. I understand that's not the most enticing wide receiver core, but it's 10 steps up from what they had last year. And they also had the most COVID opt-outs in the whole league last year. They had 8 on defense and a few more on offense. They still have one of the better offensive lines in the league after losing Joe Thuney. But I think they are just going to take some massive steps this season. They finished 7-9 last year with however many opt-outs, no wide receivers. Cam, after he had COVID, he really fell off a cliff. So I think the Patriots are going to make major improvements, and I expect Tua to play a lot better this year. Shane Gailey, their offensive coordinator from last year, wanted to dink and dunk and was playing conservative with Tua. Apparently, his hip wasn't necessarily 100%. Tua is saying he feels 10,000% better on his hip now. Everyone's in best shape of their life right now, but I really do believe that Tua is feeling a lot better, and they're trying to get more aggressive with downfield passing. They added speed in Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller. They want to throw the ball downfield more and progress Tua. So I think 3 double-digit win teams, I could really see any 3 of these teams winning the division. It's honestly a toss-up, but I'll have to go with the Bills. Just because I know what they have and I've seen them do them before.
Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys made a lot of good points. I'd have to go with the Bills. Of course, you brought up Josh Allen. We all know what he's been able to do the past couple of years, and then, add Stephon Diggs last year. But, I'm with you. Connor's Jets probably going to be in last place. I think they should have kept Adam Gase personally. I thought he was tremendous. But I'm sure that, what's his name? Robert Saleh. I call him Robert Salad, I think. But no, I think he's good for the team. I think they're starting to get better. I think they'll have a better year. But like you said, it's a good division all around. So it's going to be difficult for them. But, I'd have to go with the Bills for sure.
Yeah, I think that I don't necessarily think I think it's a tight race, like with 2 of the teams. I just don't see the Bills losing this division. I think that they're a phenomenal team, and like Mike said, they really didn't lose anyone. They didn't really even add anyone. They got Emmanuel Sanders, Gregory Rousseau in the draft with their first round pick, a couple draft guys here and there, but I still like what they've done with their team in the past 2 years at least. I got them winning the division pretty easily. I still believe in Josh Allen. I think if I was the Bills, I might have waited a little longer to get that contract out, but I mean, I don't know what's going on inside the management. You know, if Josh Allen's agent is like, let's do this, he's really pushing it, because that would be the smart move to do, obviously. Or what's going on there. But I think Josh Allen is, I think he's not going to, I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff. He had a really good year, second in MVP last year. I mean, he took the Bills to the playoffs the year before. I'm not saying he was a good quarterback, but still he took them to the playoffs. So I believe in Josh Allen. I think he could definitely be a future MVP coming up. In regards to the other teams, Patriots and Dolphins, that's going to be a tight race. I have them with double-digit wins. I actually have them just outside the wild card, but, you know, we're obviously going to talk about the wild card.
Both of them? If they have double-digit wins?
Yeah, I have them both outside. And I did this on the NFL playoff predictor, Mike. I sent you that link.
Yeah.
So I have it all
filled that
worked out.
too.
I have it all worked out. And somehow that happened. I mean, oh yeah, I see why that happened. But so yeah, I have them. I don't really know how Tua's gonna play.
That's fair.
Jalen Waddle, injury prone. Hopefully he stays healthy throughout the whole year. I like him. And the Patriots, obviously, incredible offseason. But like it was either Mike or Connor. I don't know who's gonna be QB1 there. With the question mark. So I don't know how I don't know how I would expect them to play. And then the Jets, it sucks being in that division. That's all I'll say. If they're in the like an AFC South, I think that they'd have a better record, but I don't have them winning a division game.
I think that's ridiculous. I really do.
Why?
Where are they going to win? Who are they going to beat?
They will beat the Patriots once.
When was the last time they beat the Patriots?
2015 was the last time I know of. I'm sure they've beaten them before, like after that.
I don't know. The Patriots got so much better this offseason. I understand the Jets got better
But
too.
hang on. No, you can't say that they've just gotten better, because when the whole they absolutely added a lot of great players, but throughout free agency, like we've seen teams that go out and just spend their entire cap space, like the Jaguars have before, like the Jets have before. Those teams have equivalated to absolutely nothing. Like those are the teams that don't they don't emulate to wins. You don't just go out and you spend all your money on free agency, and that's how you hope to win, by bringing in older receivers and Nelson Aguilar. Kendrick Bourne still relatively young, but
Aguilar's still young too.
Aguilar's
He's under 30.
I mean, when did the Jaguars spend their whole free agency money?
I mean, they spent their whole free agency money. They spent their whole cap space and made the AFC Championship, if that's what we're talking about. And they were a few minutes away from the Super Bowl.
All I'm going based off of is when free agency was happening, there was tweets going out that the last teams that spent all of their money in free agency did not make the playoffs that following season.
All right. I mean, we'll just have to see. I don't have them making the playoffs. If that makes you already feel any better.
No, I just think it's ludicrous that you don't think the Jets are going to win a single game within their division.
I mean, it just sucks because they're in the AFC East, which I think is one of the best divisions.
But you've got to but you have to recognize that the Dolphins are still going to be running with a young quarterback, and I know the Jets are too. But the Jets have a great front seven, and if they can get pressure on a young quarterback, whether it be Mac Jones or Tua Tagovailoa, they're going to struggle. We saw Tua struggle with pressure in his face last year, and we can say that he's 1,000% better getting off of his hip injury, but he's still a young quarterback that's going to have pressure in his face, and he's going to make mistakes if the Jets front seven can get to the ball.
Is the secondary going to hold up in that time that the front seven for the Jets is really good, especially their defensive line. But I just think, the culture change in New York is awesome. I like what Robert Saleh is doing. I really do like some of the draft picks they made. I'm not the biggest fan of Zach Wilson at all, but I do like.
We have Dak Prescott for MVP, bro.
That first of all, that was last year, okay, buddy. Second of all, you said he's doing okay in training camp. Well, yesterday, in 11 on 11, he went 11 for 24 and threw like 2 picks. This training camp has not been good for Zach Wilson at all. Okay.
You know, Mike, I remember before the
He-
draft.
he's
started when I
not-
was saying,
he's not
when I was
Patrick
saying
Mahomes.
Micah
He's not
Parsons
Aaron
was my
Rodgers. He does not have that
number
arm
one
talent.
defensive player in the NFL draft, and you said you did not like him as a player. You said you did not think he was a defensive number one in this year's NFL draft, and then the Cowboys went out and get him, and you're ecstatic for him. Come on, that's just a little bit hypocritical there.
Since when did I say I'm ecstatic for him? I said he was a very raw prospect with tons of athletic talent. I just don't know if he's going to be able to transfer to an NFL linebacker position right away because he was so unexperienced at the linebacker position. Okay? Second of all, I'm not trying to discredit the Jets and what they did this offseason. I'm just saying that the AFC East is light years ahead of where the Jets are right now.
And win 12 to 13 games. But they're going to be competitive in these games. I know that their schedule is really tough this year. They're facing the NFC South. But I mean, they're going to win a division game, whether it be against the Dolphins or the Patriots. They're going to win one.
Okay,
I'm gonna cut you guys off.
That definitely could be the case. It's in divisional games, rivalries and all that stuff. I just don't see it happening.
All right, boys, it got a little feisty there. Hopefully it doesn't get feisty throughout the whole thing, or we're gonna be running on like an hour episode. But we're gonna move over to the AFC North. We got the Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals. This division. Tommy, I'm gonna throw it to you first. We haven't heard you in a while. Who do you have winning this division?
Let's take a look here. I got the Browns. I just texted Connor. I'd be shocked if the Jets didn't win the whole thing, but no, I gotta go with the Browns in this one. I think it's gonna be pretty close. I mean, as a Steelers fan, I'd like to think that it would be them, but obviously, they had that great start last year and then they fell off, and I don't think they're quite to where they want to be, but I think they'll still be fairly competitive. I think the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, I think they always have a chance with him, but I know they didn't play as well as they were hoping. But yeah, in Cleveland, I think what they're doing is really good right now. You have Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., right? They have a lot of good key pieces there. So, I think they're in a good position to win that division. So I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm definitely gonna have to agree with you there. You had really great analysis. I'm just gonna rebuttal that. I think the Browns are gonna win this division. I think the Browns and the Ravens are really gonna be competing for this division. But I think the end of the day, Browns will get it. We saw them towards the end of the NFL season last year, and they just looked like they improved so much. I don't necessarily believe in Baker Mayfield. I don't think Baker Mayfield is that great of a quarterback, but regardless, they have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Even without Odell, it seemed like they were pretty fine in the wide receiver position. And then you look at their defense, they added Jadeveon Clowney, they added JJ Watt, or not JJ Watt, they almost had a JJ Watt, but they didn't. They added Jadeveon Clowney. And that defense last year, regardless, was fantastic in my opinion. So, Myles Garrett on the opposite side. So I think they win that. Ravens, I think they're still going to be a really good team. Lamar getting the wide receiver weapons that he needs to throw the ball. But still, their run game, regardless, is great. Steelers, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I do think that Mike Tomlin's going to keep his winning, over 500 because he's never had a team that was under 500. I still think he's going to keep that. Bengals, I don't know, try again next year. That's all I have to say. Mike?
Like what you did, I went to that website that you told me to go to, and I kind of just filled out the schedule. And for me, I got the Ravens going 13-4 and the Browns going 12-5. I could totally see that switched. I think the Browns and Ravens are two really close teams. Talking about teams that had phenomenal drafts, I think both these teams absolutely knocked it out the park. Rashad Bateman falling to Baltimore at 20-something, absolute steal. I think he's going to shine. He's going to shine. In Cleveland, Greg Newsome, phenomenal cornerback, and JOK in the second round, another great pick. And I think that defense is going to be much improved with the free agency moves that they made. I'll say that the Ravens. I'll say the Ravens win the AFC North in the regular season, but I expect the Browns to go far in the playoffs.
Okay. Connor.
Oh, sorry. I also don't have the Steelers making the playoffs. Sorry.
Okay. Connor.
I'm going to go with the Browns winning the division. As Mike said, they added 2 great defensive players with their first 2-round picks, Greg Newsome and then JOK, Jeremiah Uso-Karamoa. You have Jadavian Clowney, Myles Garrett. Sorry, there's a train going by outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But they have a great defense there, and you saw what they did without Odell Beckham last year. I think he's going to be a great person to step right back in there. I have the Browns winning the division. I like the Ravens. I think they'll make a wild card spot. But you guys know me. I don't completely trust Lamar Jackson. I still am not a huge Lamar Jackson fan. Pittsburgh Steelers last year were probably the worst 11-0 team in NFL history. I don't think that gets repeated. I don't think they make the playoffs. And I'm actually going to say that they will stay above 500, but it'll be like a 9-8 record. I don't think they get double-digit wins.
Yeah, no, that's what I have. Moving over to the AFC South, we got the Jaguars, Texans, Colts, Titans in this division. Colts injuries to 2 blowing awful injuries to Quentin Nelson, Carson Wentz. Quentin Nelson hopes to start the year off. Don't really know if that's good. Don't really see that happening. Carson Wentz might be out 5 to 12 weeks. So take that timeline. Take that timeline as you want, because 5 to 12 weeks is a pretty big.
That's like a 2-month span.
Yeah, that's pretty big, especially in the NFL. But yeah, Connor, I'm going to throw it back to you with this division.
If we were having this conversation 3 weeks ago, I'd say that the Indianapolis Colts win this division. I no longer say that. I love the Tennessee Titans, and I think the Tennessee Titans are going to win this division. You know, Derrick Henry is coming off arguably his greatest year as a professional in the NFL, and I just think that's going to continue. Losing 2 great receivers there in Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith there for that offense is definitely going to hurt them a little bit. But you add Julio Jones, so I think that's definitely going to subside that a little bit. Ryan Tannehill is still a great quarterback. I still think he's going to do very good. They're the one thing that worries me with Tennessee is the defense. Tennessee's defense has just never been that great, and that's the biggest thing that worries me the most. How many points can this offense put up in order to compete with their defense to hope that they can just score more points than their defense allows? I think that's going to be the biggest question mark with the Tennessee team. But I think they have an incredible offense and absolutely has the capability of winning this division. And with injuries to Indianapolis, I think that they have the best shot at this point.
Mike?
Yeah, I have Tennessee winning this division as well. I mean, pretty much by default, the Texans are legitimately could go 0-17. Like, they are that bad. This is one of the worst teams I've ever seen play. And I feel like we say that every year, but this team is just horrible. Besides, I mean, like the Colts, if the Colts were fully healthy, I would probably have them winning this division because they're such a well-rounded team. I really think with the proper quarterback, they could be a Super Bowl contender. But I mean, first of all, we don't even know if Carson Wentz is that guy. Second of all, he's out for 5 to 12 weeks, and I'll be more pessimistic on that given his injury profile and his history. So, and same with Quentin Nelson. I've done a little research on this foot injury, and it's usually a lot longer than 5 weeks. So that is pretty optimistic. So, but the Titans defense just got worse after being the 24th best scoring defense in the NFL. It's not going to cut it. I think they'll be like 10-7, maybe not 9-8, more like 10-7, and just win this division because the rest of the teams are not very good. But I could see the Jaguars winning like 4 to 6 games. I have them winning 4. I do have the Jets beating them though. I do have the Jets beating the Jaguars. But that's my roundup on the AFC South.
Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. I think, with the Titans having Derrick Henry, I think he's that type of player that, he obviously led them last year, and I think he's going to do so again. But yeah, like you said, Texans not in great shape at the moment. Probably not going to be their year. But no, I think you made a lot of good points. The defense with Tennessee is a concern, but I think, like you said, with the way the division is stacked up currently, I think you got to go with Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
Mike, did you say Tennessee was going to win the division with like a 9-8 or 10-7 record?
Yeah, I have them at 10-7.
That's I don't know about that.
I just don't think their defense is very good at all. I mean, and plus you get to play the Jaguars and Texans, however many 4 times a year. So I am going 10-7.
I don't know. Their defense was never that good. They ended last year record with 11-5, I think. I think.
That's true.
Yeah, but I got the Tennessee Titans. Shocker here. I got them winning the division. If the Colts were fully healthy, I'm a huge believer in the Colts. I actually have them bouncing back in the second half of the season.
Me too.
But I'm a huge believer in the Colts. If they were healthy, I would have had them probably one of the best teams in the AFC. But I think it's got to be the Titans here. I said like a week ago that the Jaguars might contend. I had to sit on that, and I don't know. I don't see Trevor Lawrence in his first year making a playoff. I think that was a little premature of me. I think I was buying into a little hype there. But no, if Deshaun Watson doesn't play for the Texans, they're 100% going 0-17. I will tell you that for sure. Because I got him sneaking like 1 or 2 games. And
You know what?
I think 1 against the Jaguars too. So I don't know. They better be hoping Deshaun's playing. Because or they're just going to end up with the first pick. But no, I got Titans winning that division.
I have a weird hunch. I have a weird hunch that coming off the Texans bye, they're going to beat Tennessee in Tennessee. I just have a weird hunch that the Texans are going to do that. I was going through a schedule. I was like, they got to win 1 game. You know what I mean? So I think they'll win that game coming off their bye, and that'll be their Cinderella story.
I mean, they did force the overtime in with Tennessee last year.
17. Yep.
Did they force 2 overtimes then? I think they got an overtime in week 6 too. I don't think they got an overtime week 17. I think Derrick Henry like ran the ball like 50 yards to cap the game off.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
And they kicked a field goal, but they did get an overtime in week 6. Week 5, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But final division. I know this has been a little long. We got the AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs have just been dominating this division. Last year, the Raiders made a wild card push. They failed. Chargers and Broncos were just towards the bottom of that of the barrel. So we got the AFC West. Connor, I'm gonna throw it to you. Who do you think is gonna win this?
I mean, it's very clear. You don't even really have to discuss who's going to win it. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. But a team, and this is just a little bit of foreshadowing, I think can be very good here, and who I think it's really their time. New head coach, I think the Los Angeles Chargers.
Stop stealing my thunder, Connor.
Have a possibility of making the wild card. The amount of games that they lost last year by 1 possession or less, and a lot of that comes down to coaching. Anthony Lynn was not a good coach. He was not a very good game manager. And I think having Brandon Staley there as a new head coach, Justin Herbert, we have seen so many good things from him. And you still have Mike Williams. You have Mike Evans, or not Mike Evans. Oh my gosh, Keenan Allen. Wow. Austin Eckler that is still there as the running back. I just think that they are such a very good team, and I think they will sneak into the wild card here. But Matt, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but I just truly believe that they're going to do something special this year.
It's okay, Connor. It's okay. I know I was pretty mean to you in the go to the number, so I'll let you have that one. Tommy, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go with Kansas City too. I just think that, year after year, these past couple, they've been great on both sides of the ball, and I have to go with them for sure. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, we don't have to mention what he's able to do out there, and they have a lot of great pieces around him. So I got to go with Kansas City in the West, of course. That's my pick.
Mike?
Yeah, I get the Chiefs as well. I'm definitely kind of high on the Chargers as well. I have them missing the playoffs though, just because I think the Patriots and Dolphins are gonna be a better team. I'm just a little worried about that defense. I don't think the defense is good, even with some of the additions they made in Derwin James coming back. But who knows if he'll be able to stay healthy. But definitely this Chargers team is a team for the future and a great team for fantasy, most importantly.
All right, for my AFC West, let's not sugarcoat it. I think the Chiefs are going to end up number 1 in the AFC. I think the Broncos are going to be absolutely horrendous. I think they might compete for the first pick, and I think that Aaron Rodgers trade for that pick, it might be a nice deal in my opinion. If
Do you really think that they're going to be that bad?
I think they're going to be bad.
Why?
I don't believe in Teddy Bridgewater, and I don't think Drew Lock is good at all. I know that they had some good additions in the secondary, but I don't think that defense will be able to win them games. I think it's going to all depend on their offense, and I can't say Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock are going to deliver them wins. They're also playing a NFC East, which I don't think is going to be the best division, but I think when the Broncos match up against at least 3 of those NFC East teams, it's not going to be pretty for them.
I got to disagree with you with the Broncos. I don't think that they'll be near the first pick. I think they'll be a little bit under 500, but I think you look at their secondary and some of the additions that they made, they have arguably the best secondary in the whole NFL. Their defensive line is still really good with Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, right? So, and I understand the concerns at quarterback, but they still went 5-11, and you got to throw in that Kendall Hinton game where they had literally 0 quarterbacks. And when I'm not saying that they would have won that game, right? But I'm just saying they definitely did make some improvements to the team, and I don't see them finishing worse than where they did last year.
Right, but they also beat the Dolphins, which they probably shouldn't have won that game. They beat the Patriots, which Patriots, if they played them now, I think the Patriots would easily win that. And I think they beat the 49ers too. Could be wrong. I don't know. I think they snuck out a few games last year.
I'm sure they also did lose some games that they should have won. I don't have their schedule off the top of my head. That's not what I'm trying to say. But
and I just think you can add so many different pieces to the defense side of the ball. Patrick Surtain included in the draft. But when you don't have a guaranteed quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, we still haven't seen exactly what he can really do outside of what he did last year in Carolina post his injury. He really didn't have a chance with the Saints or the Jets when he first came back in Carolina. He really didn't look too great. And now you could also blame it on the fact that he didn't have his number 1 running back in Chris McCaffrey for most of the year. That definitely hinders a quarterback's play. But then Drew Lock really hasn't shown anything of value in the NFL through his first couple of years. He's had a couple of good games. He has a good arm, but he's inaccurate. He turns the ball over fairly easily. And I have to agree with Matt here. I don't think they're going to do anything of sorts this year in the NFL, and will definitely be competing towards number 1 overall draft pick.
And hey, you give them a better quarterback, at least like a decent quarterback, I will think about that, and maybe they'll be close to 500. But also they're playing the Chiefs twice, who I'm really high on, obviously for apparent reasons. I'm really high on the Chargers. They play them twice, and I even think the Raiders are a decent team who's just in a really good division, kind of like the Jets. Obviously not going to be as worse as the Jets because I think they might split a series against Kansas City, but they're playing those teams 6 times a year. And then also, like I said, I'm confident that 3 of the NFC East, quite possibly all 4, maybe not the Eagles, I think they could beat them too. So that right there is 10 losses, 9-10 losses right on their record. But going back before, did you have anything else to say, Mike?
No, I just think that you guys are so off. I don't see any foreseeable way that they finish below 6-11. I really don't. I don't think that they'll be near the first pick. I don't think so. Their defense is just too good. I mean, as long as they stay healthy and stuff, I understand the issues they have at quarterback, but the Raiders got a lot worse as well. So I think they'll be able to take 1 or 2 games off the Raiders. But that's all I have to say. We can continue.
All right, and then all I want to say is I really like this Chargers team. Connor kind of stole my thunder there, but I'm very high on the Chargers, very high on Justin Herbert. And, when they're playing in NFC East, I know I just said the NFC East would beat the Broncos, but that's the Broncos. And when the NFC East is playing the Chargers, I think the Chargers are going to really give them a run for their money, those NFC East teams. So really high on them. Might as well just go right into the wild card. They're actually my first wild card team. My second wild card team is the Colts, who I said is going to have they're actually tied. So 6 and 7 are both have the same record. It's the Colts and the Ravens. The only reason why I think the Colts is because their second half of the year, like I said, I think they're gonna start rattling off some wins. That's close for me. If I didn't have the Colts, I'd probably put the Patriots there. Who wants
over
to go?
Miami? Over Miami?
Yes, for their division, because Patriots division record's better. They have the same record, but their division records are better than Miami's.
Wait, I'm curious. I mean, you obviously follow the whole schedule thing. What's your record for the Chargers and the Colts?
Chargers 12-5, Colts 11-6, Ravens 11-6.
Jeez, oh man.
I mean, hey, because the Colts, they still have that defense, which is great. And then when they get Carson Wentz back, they're gonna have an awful first half of the season. But if they get Carson Wentz back, or they even trade for a quarterback, which I've heard they had rumors with Nick Foles. If they get a decent quarterback in there, Nick can just start rattling off some wins for you. He obviously did with the Bears. I think they're going to have a really good second half, so the second part of their year when they start getting those guys back. Awful first half. I remember doing it. They were probably like 1-5, or 1-4 at least, and then started rattling off. They also did play. I think they played Texans and Jaguars early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You're wrong there. Who wants to go next? Anyone?
I'll go next. Obviously, I gave my division winners. I have the Patriots, Dolphins, and Browns as my wild card teams. I do think the Chargers have a shot at the playoffs, but I just don't see them making it, at least for this year. I think the top 7 teams in the AFC are very clear to me, and it's going to be very competitive.
Connor.
I'm gonna go Ravens, Chargers, Dolphins in that order.
Tommy.
Let's take a look here. This is tough. I'm gonna go. Well, I agree. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I'll go with the Chargers too, and then let's see. We need one more. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I think they're gonna squeak in there.
There you go,
Patriots
Tommy.
finally get back. There's our AFC picks. Any final thoughts before we head into the go of the week?
It's going to be a fun NFL season. Definitely, 100%.
All right. Next week, we're going to have the NFC predictions. Then we're finally going to be able to see who our Super Bowl predictions is. Maybe Mike can go 2-0. Who knows this year? But we're going to be right back with the go of the week. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back to finish off this episode with the go of the week. You check out the leaderboard right now. Mike got a win with Caleb Dressel. Well-deserved, Mike. Well-deserved. He's close to Connor. He's got 14 wins. Connor's got 15. I got 23. And Tommy has 7 wins, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, I mean, we're getting close, right?
Tommy's been out of the running for a while.
Yeah, Tommy, you think you could come back or no?
No chance, but you never know, though, I guess.
All right, well, the comeback starts here. Who are you going to go with?
Oh man, this is tough. I was looking up some stats. I think I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go with Masahiro Tanaka because he won the gold medal with Team Japan, and obviously former Yankee, great guy. So I'm happy for him to win that gold medal. Pitched very well. So gotta go with Tanaka. But I do have an honorable mention if we have some time later. But you guys go first. But I gotta go with Tanaka.
Tommy, did Tanaka pitch that gold medal game or no?
You know what? I was looking up those stats, and I personally, I
Alright.
don't know that information.
We'll get back to you, Tommy. We'll get back to you.
Okay, I'll have it for you.
Mike, you're gonna 2P.
I don't know. I definitely do think I have a shot. I'm gonna go with Sue Bird. I think it was Saturday where she won her 5th Olympic gold medal, most in basketball history. I mean, and the thing is, you can only win one of those a year, right? So she's won a gold medal every 4 years in the span of 20 years, which is absolutely ridiculous. And she still played over 2 hours of total time. And she was the captain. She was a starter. She definitely did play very well. And I got to pick her, especially at her age. She played really well. She's 40 now.
Connor.
I am going to go with another Olympian this week. I'm going to go with the U.S. track and field star, Allison Felix. She won her 11th medal this year, this past week, passed Carl Lewis for the most by an American in track and field. She won her 11th medal in the 4x400 relay with the team of three other people there for the United States. So 11 gold medals there for Allison Felix, most by an American track star. So definitely go to the week worthy there.
That's a good pick. Tommy, you really dropped the ball with the go of the week. I'll just tell you that. But I'm going to go with mine first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant. Secured the gold medal for the men's basketball team over on Friday. He had 29 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. And let me tell you, he's kind of secured the GOAT of U.S. basketball because he passed Carmelo Anthony in points, and he secured another gold medal, which is incredible. And you even look at the Olympics previously in the finals, 30 points in what was in London?
London
30,
and Rio.
Yeah, 30 points in Rio, 29 over there in Tokyo. But yeah, he's my go of the week. Tommy really dropped the ball on go of the week because Bryce Harper's been killing it, dude. I mean, literally, he's been killing it. 4 home runs and like 7 RBIs, leading the Phillies right now in the past week. Really dropped the ball. I'm disappointed in your baseball over here.
Well, you know what? Disappointing pick, especially because Tanaka did not pitch in that gold medal game. But you know, I will say I have been a little out of touch with it lately, but now that I'm back home, we'll be keeping tabs on everything. But my honorable mention was Anthony Rizzo. I didn't get a chance to talk about that, but very happy about those 2 Yankee trades, getting Joey Gallo and Anthony Rizzo. They've been great right from the start.
Yeah. Another honorable mention, Carly Lloyd, too. Most goals in U.S. soccer history for the women. Or I think international soccer for women. I don't know. Something like that. But Tommy, you dropped the ball.
I
Mike,
did.
do you have any final thoughts?
I do have final thoughts. So, I'm not sure if Tommy has known this, but the Mets have been absolutely the bed. They have been miserable. They've been horrible. They've lost like 5 games in a row. They lost 3 out of 4 to the freaking Marlins. And for first place in the NL East, they go to Philly and they show up like that, losing first 2 games of the series. They got to win today. I'm just asking the Mets, can you do it for my birthday? Like, can I give you any more extra motivation? Because it just seems like you're dead. You had back-to-back home runs in the freaking 9th inning of a game, and you get 2 runners on base with 0 outs, and you freaking blow it. I mean, that's all I have to say. I'm going to get myself too worked up, and it just Mets do better. That's all I have to say. Mets do better. You know, Steve, I get in there, give some like motivational, cheesy speech. I don't care. Do something to fix this mess.
All right.
That's all I have to say.
Any final thoughts here on Go Chat before we end this episode?
Seems like baseball in New York has shifted.
It has, because, you know, the better teams in the Bronx, but it's okay.
All right. I guess that's all we have for Go Chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We've been starting to do some TikToks over there. Hope to get some more out. Hope to get Tommy on it. Tommy and Connor on some of those TikToks. We'll have to see if they do any. We want Tommy content. We all know we do. It's great to have you back, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. It's great to be back. I'll make a TikTok. I don't know what it would be, but we'll come up with something.
I know Tommy has some moves up his sleeve. I know that.
I don't know about that. I don't think I'm going to be doing the Renegade, but I could do some sports TikTok.
All right. Well, there you have it. We'll see you guys next week.